Hi, I'm Kevin Michael with SLEDD. Over my years as a guitar player, I've played most of the iconic amplifiers, which will remain nameless, but some great amplifiers. It's rare for me to find a new amplifier that really excites me as much as some of the classics I've used. However, the V3 amplifier, which we use in SLEDD, has been more of an amplifier than anything I've ever used. And that's why I was so excited when Carvin asked me to come up and demonstrate the new V3 Micro, because it has so many of the features of the V3, but in a much smaller, more compact package. As you can see, the V3MC has been redesigned with a new look and also has the LED lighting system. A difference you'll often notice between the head and combo design is that the chassis has been inverted to fit into this combo cabinet. So the controls are going to be reversed from what you see here on the combo versus your V3M head. So just don't let that throw you. Your master and reverb would be on the opposite side and all the controls would be reversed. However, the function is the same. For this part of the demo, I selected Carvin's Bolt T model with the tremolo, but it has the S60A single coil pickups, which are ideal for these type of clean sounds, for the funk sounds, for any type of out of phase, kind of honky mid-range quacking duck sounds that you might want. But let's start off with your basic iconic clean tone. You want something very fat, single coil type of a sound, like this. In the clean channel of the preamp, what we've got, the EQX selection is in the up position on the combo. It would be down on the head. Your treble is fairly high, presence less so, and you'll find that the more you increase your treble control, the more the treble and the presence will interact, and so those two controls are highly influential of one another. So you need to think about, as you're adding, do I really want that extra high little sparkle of the presence? Do I want the cutting edge of the treble, and kind of adjust those back and forth? And here I've actually not even used the bright channel. So we actually have a little more sparkle we can bring in if we were to do that. If you're in the bright position, it's going to mostly accentuate those high frequencies. So you get a really flattering kind of a distortion for, and we're talking about a very, very subtle distortion, for something that's just a little bit more punchy. So it's going to pop out, it's going to sound a little more aggressive and not so thin, perhaps. And you can also use your boost control to accentuate that also. More of a Rolling Stones distortion, perhaps. You'll notice I haven't taken a lot of time to describe exactly which settings I put the amplifier on. The reason for that is I want to encourage you, as you explore your V3MC, to take a little bit of time and just play with these controls, because you'll find that there's a huge amount of variation, not only with the tone stacks. You have two different tone selections with your EQX. One is giving you a broader range of frequencies controlled by each of the tone controls. And so that has a different effect on how it tailors your tone compared to the narrower range, which we've been using here. One thing you'll notice when you bring that EQX out, it's going to get a lot gutsier. Assuming you have something boosted, because if everything's straight up, it probably won't do anything. So that's without. And this is the narrower band of EQs, and this is the broader. little bit more of that breakup. If you want to get into a lot of these sounds, and it's going to vary with exactly which guitar and pickups you have. So the first thing to consider is your drive control and how it's interacting with your volume control. If you want to get a cleaner sound, you can bring the drive down, but it's going to get thin very quickly. If you want a really clean, steely sound, that's great. For a ballad. But you maybe want it to be like that, but not too thin. So then rather than increase the drive control to make it sound fat again, bring up your channel volume, and you're going to introduce a little bit of power amp distortion, a little bit more graceful distortion, and still keep your clean, steely kind of a sound. Like. A lot of the differences we're talking about are very subtle, and when you're adjusting your own amplifier at home or on a gig, you'll be able to hear these little differences, but over the internet it might be more difficult to hear. So if you have a difficulty hearing a difference between some of the tones that we're getting here, perhaps some high quality headphones plugged directly into your computer would give you a better chance to hear the little differences that we're talking, the subtle nuances of the tone. The next thing we're going to do is talk about some of our other options in the preamp. Now we have a 3-channel preamp, which has a very unique and distinctive clean channel we just discussed, and we have 2 identical gain channels. Typically with a 3-channel amp, you're going to think about having a rhythm tone and a lead tone. But I'm going to encourage you to think about having a classic tone and a modern tone, because for your lead you have the variable boost control. So you can actually take your classic rock rhythm channel, add the boost, and now you have a classic rock lead. You can take your modern hard rock rhythm channel and add the boost, and now you have a modern hard rock lead. So you'll get more versatility out of your preamp if you don't try to use one dedicated for lead and one dedicated for rhythm, but rather just think of them as 2 different amplifiers in your back pocket, and each one has that lead channel by adding the boost. So we're going to take our 2nd channel, and mind you, channel 1 and 2 are identical, so we can do anything with either of these that we want. We can actually voice them identically if we want, or completely differently. So that's what we're going to do in this case, is completely differently, and we're going to go for some classic rock tones. Now I still got the single coil S60A pickups here, which don't have perhaps as much mid-range or as much gain as the Carvin humbuckers, but with this preamp and all the gain we have available, we can still get excellent convincing rock tones. So this sound here is definitely taking us into a modern metal sound, and I'm going to demonstrate it with humbuckers in a minute. But just to show you what you can do with this preamp and a regular single coil type of a guitar, here's a bit of a metal type of a sound for you. So now we've gone to a guitar with the humbucking pickups, and this is going to give us a little bit more authentic heavy metal type of a tone. It'll sound real nice. With the preamp, we're on our intense setting. Got quite a bit of drive, but we're not maxed out by any stretch of the imagination. And with our master volume set at 5, this is all going to start sounding pretty distorted and pretty heavy. You can also take this same type of a setting where you've got your thick, crunchy rhythm, and if you add your boost for your solo now, you're going to end up with something that really pops out over the mix. Great things about the V3 Micro for myself as a V3 head user is that you've got something you can grab quickly, take to a rehearsal or a small show, and get all your same sounds on a smaller volume level, especially with a scalable power. It's also nice with the 112 extension cabinet that Carvin's offering here with a sealed back, which gives you that little extra bottom end in those type of situations. So today we checked out the V3MC combo in the optional red Tolex. The factory standard is basic black, quite sharp, and you have all these other selections to choose from. The hardest choice you might have to make is which one you want. This is Kevin Michael from SLEDD signing off. We'll see you next time on the Carvin channel.